going back to the beginning, I sort of realised why a lot of the reason why I was looking to fill that void I had and that uncomfortable feeling I always suffered from. You know, I got it out. And what happened is it's a big contribution to my life of why my life went the way it did. And it was I was 3. You know, I was 3 years old, and I'm in the house with my 8-month-old sister. She's sat in a high chair, and my 2 other sisters are outside playing tennis, and my mum's gone nipped to the shop. The shop was no more than 100 yards up the road and back, and as she's nipped to the shop, I've set a piece of paper on fire next to the setting, next to the high chair, and I've lost control of it, you know, and it's gone up, and I'm only 3, and you know, I'm scared now. There's a big fight. My dad's upstairs in bed as well. My mum said to the girls, look after them 2 while I run to the shop. So they've carried on playing tennis, thinking it'll be alright, she'll be back in a minute. Next minute the house is blazing. Yeah, my mum's ran back, tried to get my sister out of the fire. Her hands are all burnt. I've had little attempts with my mum, and you know, my dad's had to jump out the window. My house was burnt to a cinder. My sister got burnt nearly to death. Yeah, she was on the last. She had a priest come in the hospital and all that stuff. You know, she burnt her hands. She got no hands. Burnt all her hair off. You know, she had first degree burns. All down to me lighting a fire. Anything, you know, and I took it on. I took that on as a 3-year-old. When I went in ADAS, as soon as I sat down with Steve Parsford, and just burst out crying. I'd not cried for years, and I was fucking sobbing. Do you know what I mean? And so although, and then I brought it to the group, because this was a one-to-one first, when I give them a little story about yourself. Just my first day in group. And then I brought it to group, and then that's when the group gave me feedback on it, like, what, you blamed yourself for that all that time, and don't be stupid, and you can't have that as an excuse to use, and blah blah blah. Because I did, that was my excuse to use, because I'd burnt my sister to near death, and I had to look at her every day and see what I did to her every day of my life. Do you know what I mean? And it fucking crippled me. You know, it ruined me. My sister had a 3-year-old at the time, like recently, and I looked at him and I thought, would it be his fault? You know, I had to put myself in his shoes now and think, would it be his fault now if he went upstairs and set the house on fire? I thought, well, it wouldn't really. You know, he's a kid, you need to keep an eye on him. So I had to sort of take it back to me. Well, I was his age, and you know, I'm not blaming him now. If he was to do it, how can I blame myself? Do you know what I mean? You know, things might have been different, might not, but they might have. You know, and I used on that. That was one of the biggest things I used on, the guilt.
To be out the house and using. My mum used to disappear, leave us for days on end, 2-3 days at a time, and you know. Between my dad leaving at 9 years old, it was a regular occurrence. I can remember the teacher coming to my classroom. I was in class, 9 years old, I'm in class. The teacher come and gets me out of the classroom, and I'm stood in this corridor. I'll never forget it. To this day, it was like it was yesterday. And I'm stood down this long corridor, and the teacher's asking me, where's your mum, Barry? And I'm like, I know it's something's not right, something's on top, something's been said. And I said, she's at home in bed. And she says, are you sure? And I said, yeah. She said, how do you know she's at home in bed? Because I've seen her. And I had a younger brother, Dean, he was 7, and a younger sister, who was 5. She was still in the nursery. And the teacher had asked me, well, how come Tina's got no knickers on? And I just, wow, you know. And I said, my mum was poorly, and I got me Dean and Tina dressed, and I brought her to school. And what I used to do, I used to go to the corner shop and get 3 bags of crisps and 3 apples on tea for our breakfast, because my mum wasn't at home. And yeah, I used to take her off to school. So that particular morning, you know, I was busy, you know, trying to sort myself out, and obviously I got put knickers on my sister. So that was, you know, that was my childhood really. You know, for many years it was just my mum not being at home. Us 3 fending for ourselves, and my when she was at home, there was many different. So my childhood was pretty, looking back, it was feral. You know what I mean? I was a feral kid. So yeah, I got into substances very early, and
I had that restless, irritable and discontent, what it talks about in an addict, which I wasn't aware of being only 17, and it sort of gave me that ease, you know. So I took that, and not knowing, well, not thinking that I'd get, you know, I wouldn't get addicted, you know. I'd be like, it's not like, it won't happen to me, you know, I'm stronger than that, I'm better than that, you know. And I used to say, I remember I used to say to myself, I wish, you know, when because they used to have the odd advert on the telly, and I used to say, I wish I could get an habit, you know, just to show these idiots how easy it is to stop. Obviously I wasn't to take heroin, and you know, seeing the odd advert about heroin and Zamo and all that, and still taking it, you know, because not every kid took it at my age, you know, but I still got that respite of being me, you know, not that I was aware of it at the time, but when I look back now, I got that sort of solace, you know. I was like, you know, this is the answer to all my problems.
so I was back on class A's then, and I come home at the night, everyone was in bed, and every file with me heroin on it, and I'd folded it up, and I'd gone to the bin in the kitchen, and I got a nappy, I got a clean nappy out of the bag and put my file in this nappy, wrapped the nappy up and threw the nappy in the bin, thinking it'd be cool. And I was laying in bed the next morning, she's got up for work, and she's there sat in front of this big mirror, sat on the floor blowing her hair, and she says to me, "You've been using?" And I was like, "Oh, just leave me alone, I haven't been using, I've just had a little weed and I'm tired and, you know, full of, just leave me alone." And I said, "You're delusional, where have you got this from?" And she pulled the file out from under the leg out of a bag or whatever. She said, "I know you've been using, I've just found it." And she threw it at me. And my only concern at that moment in time was not the relationship ending, not the fact that she might kick me out any moment, or the fact that I was going to be homeless, so I had nowhere to go, was my gear still on this file. And as it's come flying through the air, that was my only concern, and I've got it. And I've opened it and it was still there, and I've wrapped it back up again, shoved it under the pillow, and then tried to fix my relationship. And